Hey, this is alligator recording artist Selwyn Birchwood, and you're listening to Talkin Blues.
So I understand that you have spent some of the pandemic downtime learning how to video edit.
Yeah, well, 2020 turned everybody into YouTubers pretty much. So while I was stuck at home, I was adamant about not wasting the time. I didn't want to get to where we were getting out of isolation and feel like it was wasted time. So I always have to kind of feel like I'm being productive doing something. And since we were only able to do things digitally, and I was out of work, I couldn't afford to pay someone else to try to do any videos or anything for me. So I said, man, I I can try to learn to do this myself. And I just took the time to really try to upgrade my equipment, get some decent video cameras, some decent microphones, and just do it myself. And I've actually, every promo that I've posted on my social media, as well as what is it, three music videos now, three full length music videos I've actually edited myself. And the living in a burning house one I even filmed in my room. And it took me a long time to get to where I'm feeling good about it, kind of similar to playing music, I guess. But I'm at the point where it's like, yeah, I feel like I'm making legit videos at this point, and yeah, I'm excited to add that to the palette.
I'm curious as to what you have learned about learning how to edit. Like, what have you seen out there in the process to make you think this is what I want to do or this is not what I want to do?
Well, it's just pretty much been necessity. We live in a digital world now, and I had a person that I was paying to do my kind of spots for Facebook or for advertisements and that sort of thing. And I just was in a position where it's like, well, I can't call him and give him this much money for a 30-second video. I'm going to need another video done next week and the week after that. So it's like, well, this isn't going to be something that goes away. This is going to be more and more needing to do videos. So they say necessity is the mother of invention, and that's what I landed on doing. While I had the time and while I had the ability, I figured I'd just do it myself, which is pretty much my entire approach to life, though.
Do you find, is it easy to visualize the song? So let's say you decide you're going to do your next video. Is it easy to pretty well visualize what that will be and how you will present it?
It it depends on the song. I've always got ideas, and I think it's just a cool thing. I grew up on music videos, and I miss seeing that, to where I feel like you get a 360-degree view of the music when you can do it visually as well. Because I try to write the music as vividly as I can, as far as the sounds and the lyrics go together, but the music video allows me to put it, that last aspect of actually making it visual. And once I've got an idea for something, it's like I can go about putting it together. But it's harder to just select the songs, but they kind of write themselves as far as the video goes, once I've got an idea from whatever song it is I want to use.
So I know that you released an album not too long ago, but it was probably put on hold for a bit. So the material that
Oh yeah.
you're kind of promoting right now was probably recorded a couple of years ago, if not longer. In writing songs over the last year, has the way you write songs changed at all? Because now you're more used to the visual element. Like, has your interest in making videos influenced the way you might write or play a song?
No, I mean it all comes from the heart. I don't think it would be too productive to try to write in the sense of what is this going to look like on video. You have to write the music to be as vivid as possible, and I feel like if you do that, then you know the video will come. But you just have to start with the music being as vivid and as visual as possible, and that's what I've been trying to do all along.
What's been the most difficult part about making videos?
Uh, it's just a lot. There's a really steep learning curve on it, but at the end of the day, it takes practice as anything does, and you know, um, just excited to be able to get it out there now. I've got 4 music videos for this newest album I've got. So one for the title track, Living in a Burning House, one for the song Revelation, one for the song Freaks Come Out at Night, and then I just released one for Searching for My Tribe. And I feel like it gets a little bit better with every iteration, and I'll keep trying to go that route.
Good plan. Can you imagine something bigger in terms of not only doing a song, but doing a film or a short film or something larger than just a musical video?
If I had the time, that'd be incredible. I'm hoping that I don't ever have the amount of time that I had in 2020 ever again. I'm
Right.
hoping that we'll be so busy touring that it just won't be in the cards for it.
Good plan. So let's
Yeah.
go back to where it all began. Tell me about how music came into your life.
I started playing guitar when I was 12. I just kind of had decided that I wanted to play an instrument and landed on guitar. But it's funny because I kind of found that I had always liked music. I just didn't realize it. When I look back at all the movies and TV shows and stuff that I liked even as a kid, it was always the ones that had the jazz music and the cartoons and blues music, and I just didn't realize what I was listening to at that time. And all the way up until I was 17 years old, that's when I first really got exposed to the quote unquote real blues at a Buddy Guy concert. And that's really what set me on my path. I had never experienced such raw talent and soul and emotion and just power and energy all at once as when I saw that concert. And I said, whatever this is, that's what I want to learn. That's what I want to do. And, I spent every day since then pretty much chasing that dragon. And, it's a crazy thing now to have first heard the music through Buddy Guy at that point to now with my new record, Living in a Burning House. I actually have Buddy Guy's producer produce that record for me. So I have Tom Hambridge as a producer on this album. And, I couldn't be happier with what we got with it. I feel like with this album, we've really found our sound. And, I challenge anybody to go find a band that sounds exactly like my band. I don't think they're going to do it.
Um, okay, so between the age of 12 and the time that you saw Buddy Guy, what were you playing? What were you doing musically?
Not too much. I was just trying to learn whatever songs I could find on the radio to try to impress my friends and stuff. And I just didn't really get to dig into blues music, and I just wasn't exposed to a lot of the music that I listen to now and that I've really learned from. And it's a shame that I myself and other people aren't exposed to it more often. But with this kind of music, since it's not in the mainstream, you kind of have to have a portal that you kind of go through to find it. And even before I found Buddy Guy, I wouldn't have found Buddy Guy if I didn't see in a Jimi Hendrix bio somewhere him just raving about Buddy Guy. And then I go find Buddy Guy and he's just raving about Muddy Waters and Guitar Slim and BB King. And you kind of have to find those avenues to get to the root of the music. And, I hope that there's more of that in the years to
Well, I'm
come.
sure there is. I'm wondering, how deep does that go? Like at this point, do you still continue to search or do you start to think about going a different direction?
No, I'm always trying to dig back and look forward, if that makes any sense. So I'm always trying to, find the root of the music, and then once you find the root of the root and the root of the root of the root, and really just dig back as far as I can into the sounds and into the culture and the music, and then try to utilize that to tell my own story. And I feel like that's what we've been able to do. We've kind of got one foot in the tradition and then one foot on the future, and try to mesh it all together to tell my own story rather than try to turn it into a museum piece.
But to learn the blues, I presume, like you said, you kind of have to dig back and go through the people that you've gone through, like Buddy Guy, like Muddy Waters.
Hmm.
How do you make it your own sound?
um I'm not sure just yet. That's something I'm constantly searching for. I do know that that's the goal. My goal is to find a sound we can more closely call our own sound, and I can more closely call my own sound. Um, and I feel like that goal is lost a lot in today's environment and scene. You find people that are content just recording and re-recording and re-recording, songs that are almost 100 years old now. And if and then there's a whole clan of people that want to say if it doesn't sound exactly this way, it's not okay, or it's not correct, it's not right. And I don't think that that's the way it's supposed to be. It becomes fraudulent to me and to my ears at some point when I hear someone on stage literally telling someone else's story and only singing someone else's songs. I feel like that misses the whole spirit and the uh, whole aspect of this music, where the music is sort of that venting and of that frustration and of that struggle and of that hurt that you're experiencing yourself. And when you vent it through the music, it allows you to feel that little bit better. And then it also allows other people to connect to what you're feeling. But when I hear someone on stage just singing someone else's song, talking about I was born in Chicago in 1952 or whatever, and I look at them and I'm just like, no, you weren't, and no, you didn't. But when I hear someone telling their story, it just seems to sound differently. It seems to sound truthful, and I feel it on a different level. And I feel like at that point, it stops just being music and it starts being medicine, because in that way, we don't have to be alone in feeling that.
I wonder. I know you create your own sound with your own music and the lyrics you write and the songs you write. But are there songs that from the past that you did play that you really connected to? You
Yeah.
know
I
that
mean,
was easy for you to say. This is I can relate to that. I understand what this person has gone through.
yeah, that's really what drew me to this music, is that it was relatable to me. When I was in high school, all the other kids were listening to music, talking about how many cars someone has and how much money someone's got, and I didn't relate to that, man. I could relate to listening to blues music, talking about a struggle that someone had, or even so much as talking about getting drunk and smoking weed. I could relate to that. And whether you're happy, sad, mad, or glad, there's a blues for all of it. And I could relate to that for sure.
How did the songwriting come to you? I mean, I can't imagine writing songs is an easy thing. But at the age of 17, you see Buddy Guy and you say, I want to do that. How does that translate into you writing your own songs? And at what point does that become something that you're very confident with?
I mean, I always was writing. That was my kind of outlet even before I started playing blues. Like I would write just notebooks filled, notebook after notebook of what would later become songs, but it was just kind of freelance writing and poetry and creative writing and stuff. And eventually, once I started getting deeper into music, it turned more into songwriting. But that was something that I always kind of did. Even before I was into blues music, I was constantly writing. So it just kind of was a happy marriage, I guess, to be able to utilize that aspect and push it into my music, which is cool.
I don't know if you can separate these elements, but when you when you decided that this is a path you wanted to follow, which is being a musician, actually,
Mhm.
was there a time when you thought this is what I want to do? Was it when you saw Buddy Guy?
Yeah, absolutely. That was when I really was able to kind of see what I wanted to do. It was a strange thing. It was something that I'd never experienced before, but I knew that that's what I needed to do, and that's what I wanted to do.
So when you make that decision, and I don't know if you break this up, but do you think I want to be a great guitar player? I want to be a great singer. I want to be a great songwriter. I want to be a great performer. Or is it all that? Like, how does that, what do you concentrate on first?
I feel like it was all of that in the same, and all of that together. Because when you see that sort of a performance, you really, the best description that people have is having the audience in the palm of your hand, sort of a thing. And uh, I mean, it's just such a shared energy and a shared excitement that I felt at that show. And that's what I try to create, and that's what I hope to give to my audiences when they come to see us, is that shared excitement and shared energy of just enjoying live music, and us putting our energy out there to hopefully be received by the audience.
I understand that you went to school, you went to college for business. And I was
Yeah.
actually told at one point that you decided to do that for your musical career, that you wanted to know the business end of the music. Is that true?
No, I went to school because my family insisted, as most do.
Right.
Uh, I've been told a lot of stories as to why I went to school, and but yeah, that's kind of what you're led to do. But yeah, my family thought that music was a great hobby. They wanted me to go to school, and I had opportunity to go to school and not. My grades were good, so I got scholarship on it. So I didn't see any reason not to, and I played music all the way through, and all the way before and all the way after now. And yeah, I much preferred playing music.
But you did go for business, is that correct?
Yeah, I got my master's in business.
So, what did that master's in business teach you about what you do?
Uh, man, I feel like it almost indirectly helps me, because it's almost like a shield of people. So many people know that I have a business degree that they don't try to one over me on a lot of stuff. At least I don't feel like they do, because they'll ask me about it straight up front about it. But I always kind of had a mindset of this being a business, and it just really augmented that. And I heard so many stories about the older musicians being screwed over on the business side of stuff, that I wanted to make sure that didn't happen as well. And it doesn't hurt to have that going for you.
Okay, so one of the older musicians who, if I don't know if it's correct to say that, who took you on, but who obviously had a major influence on you, is Sonny Rhodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you tell me a little bit about that relationship and how you met and what he means to you?
Man, I'm still grateful that I was able to happen to come across a older generation blues player like Sonny, because I felt like that was another school that I went to. I started with his band when I was 19 years old, and he showed me what it was to be a touring musician in this industry, and what it was to be a band leader. And I played with him in his band for about 5 years, and by the time I got to putting my own band together in my mid 20s, even though I was young, I was not green. So it was one of those things that people were always taken aback by my demeanor and by, kind of the way that I did things, because it was one, I had already been doing that for quite some time, and they were taken aback that even Bruce Iglauer, when he met me, he said that the same sort of thing. He's like, he carries himself like a road dog and veteran. And it's like, at that point I already had, we'd done drives for 40 hours. The longest I did with him on my first tour was leaving Orlando, Florida. Our first show was in Calgary, Alberta. I'm 19 years old. I'm headed out on this 86-hour drive to get to the first show. That first show was a festival we played in, Calgary International Blues Festival. And that was my first festival that I played. I had to drive 86 hours to get there. So it's like I've got a different mentality when people show up at the show and say, "Oh, can I sit in?" It's like, yeah, you get on the other end of this 86-hour drive and you can sit in on the festival, you know. But I'm really glad that I was able to ride someone's coattails at such a young age and really learn the old way of doing things, which I think is the right way of, really paying your dues and earning your way to get your stripes in this business, man.
I wonder, when you have that kind of exposure and somebody who's such a road dog teaching you, can you tell me something that you might have witnessed that thought, yeah, this is why I'm doing this? And also something you thought, wow, why am I doing this? Because there's got to be a whole range.
You can drive for 40 hours and know that you're not even halfway there. And it definitely had me questioning whether this was the lifestyle that I wanted. But at the end of the day, the answer was yes. It's like the entire way along, I said, man, this is how badly I want to do this. This is how badly, I feel like this is for me. And, at the other end of the spectrum, you get to the festival and, I was meeting my heroes at that point. And, we're getting on festivals with some of the older musicians I'd been looking up to, like Magic Slim and Johnny Winter, Lucky Peterson, Kenny Neal, Michael Burks and Guitar Shorty, Bobby Rush, some of those guys are still touring around. But it's like I saw a whole lifestyle and a whole world that I didn't know existed. And, that's really what drew me out to this music. So I'm really grateful that I was exposed to that at such a young age.
And at a young age, you seem to have accomplished a lot, including winning the IBC and also getting the Blues Music Awards and being constantly nominated for the Blues Music Awards. Did you set out with goals in mind?
No, I mean, my goal is the same now as it always has, to learn to play and sing the best of my ability, and to be as authentic to the music and as authentic to myself as I can, and to put on the best show that I can every time I get on stage, and try to, leave a mark on the audiences that I get in front of. And I feel like if you do that everything else will work out. And, so far, so good, I guess.
Well, so far, it's very good. Tell me
Yeah,
about
man.
the first time you went to the IBC and what that taught you for the second time when you won.
Uh, Man, IBC is just kind of a crapshoot. I've seen a lot of really good bands that didn't get anywhere in the IBC, and it's just so subjective. It's hard to tell.
Mhm.
But from the show aspect of it, I really saw the first time I went there kind of what bands were doing that was working and what wasn't working, and kind of how I wanted to adjust my show to give us a good chance and be in a good position. And by the time I came back the second time, after making the finals already, the year prior, we were ready to go. We had you only have about 20 minutes to make an impression, and we used every one of those 20 minutes. And people were showing up and people were responding. They were having to close the venues that we were playing in Memphis that year because it was so many people coming in to see us. And then as soon as we were done playing, it's like the venue cleared out. I was like, wow, these people were coming to see us at that point, and I feel like we just made too much noise to ignore, and I couldn't be happier with the results of getting first place out of the almost 250 bands that year, and then also winning the Albert King Guitarist of the Year award. It's just surreal to even say it out loud, but it's amazing.
Okay, so what does that kind of success so early do for a performer?
Um, it's just inspiring for me. I'm never one to be content with anything, so it just inspires me. Maybe I'm on the right track of this, and to keep going harder, to keep pushing on, and keep going after it.
And if I was to ask you who that musician was compared to the musician you are today, how different is that person?
Uh, I don't think it's too different. Definitely got some more years on the road. Um, you know, I just I feel like we're constantly working to just earn our keep, and I feel like we're getting there. I feel I'm confident in what we're doing, and I'm confident in the sound that I've got, and I'm confident in what we bring to the table. And I feel like we have something to offer the crowds that get in front of that we get in front of, and I want to continue to do that.
What has the last year and a half been like for you? I know that you used it creatively and constructively, but as an artist, what has the pandemic meant to you?
It's just it's like a fish being out of water. We went from never being home, and literally I wouldn't go 5 days at home without turning around to go start doing shows again, to only being at home. And psychologically it was a huge adjustment. And once I realized that we were having to stay put, just turned the frame of mind to where it's like, okay, well, what can I do from home so that I'm ready once this thing opens back up?
And did your writing change or the way you wrote change because of the downtime?
No, it just allowed me to have a lot more time to write. So, I had the goal of trying to have a new record written before this one came out, because we had to shelve living in a burning house for almost a year, or just over a year. We finished recording in December of 2019 to release in May 2020, and that got pushed back to January of 2021. So that we had that whole year pretty much. And I almost met my goal. I got about another half of album of songs written, and I'm constantly trying to just keep us moving forward.
Does the songwriting come easy to you?
It depends on the song. I can bat around an idea for a long time, and it takes me a while to settle on it because I'm so nitpicky. But sometimes they can come quickly, and that's the best kind. I feel like when it really just feels like it flows out well.
And now, what is it, the fourth or fifth album that you've done? Do you know who you are as an artist?
I'm not sure. I'm still trying to find that, I think, but I feel like I'm on the right path.
Yeah. Obviously, you've had a lot of success already, so that says something. But even the new album, if I understand correctly, it debuted pretty high.
Yeah, the new record is my first record that I put out. It actually debuted at number one on the iTunes Blues chart. It debuted at number one on the Billboard Blues chart, and it's since then it's still cracked the top 10 of the Billboard Blues chart, 4 or 5 times. And I'm just ecstatic that the music that I'm writing, that people are receiving and responding to, because it's actually my fifth record of all original material. And I'm adamant about writing my own songs and telling my own story, and I'm amazed that it's been received so highly and so openly. So I'm really ecstatic about that.
And so you should be. So, playing wise, I guess you haven't played that much this year. You're starting to now, but
As far as doing shows,
yeah.
yeah. Well, we're just getting back into it. I knew that this year would still be a little bit weird as far as the touring wise, but we're getting back into it now. We're home for a week last week, but before that we had 8 shows in 9 days. And then before that we had a really nice tour through the Midwest and did some festivals. And, we've still got some overseas stuff that's booked for, I think we head back to Switzerland in December, and we got some more European stuff for next year, including blues cruise with Joe Bonamassa, and it should be looking a lot better next year. But at this point, I take what I can, and I'm happy to play any shows, man.
How easy is it to get back into the swing of things? Like, how long does it take for you to feel like this is where we should be live wise?
I don't think that I was surprised how little time it took for us to get back to it. I feel like everybody was just ready. It used to be that, you would kind of drag to a gig if you're tired, and it's like, oh, I have to get through this gig, or I have to do this gig. And it's like, now it's just, I get to do this gig. I get to drive 18 hours. I get to haul this equipment. And, it really is a humbler to be put in a corner for that long. And we're happy to be back out on the road.
So it just came back to you very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know you've been on the road all day, and I know you have another long day ahead of you tomorrow, so I'm going to end the interview here. But thank you so much for doing this.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me on. I'm glad it worked out.
Thank you very much.
All right.